What's up, guys? Welcome to week number 30 of my 2018 training. This was a fairly decent week of training, although I did have a little bit of some issues on this bench workout here. I was hoping to come into the day and be able to hit something similar to what I did on the Duffalo bar, to a similar setup with the foam board, but my shoulders just weren't really feeling it. I think I'm having some issues, not actually with the shoulders themselves, but more so my technique is what I think is kind of causing issues through the shoulders. I am trying my damnedest to lower the bar relatively straight down without putting it in some kind of funky angle on the first rep, and I'm still kind of failing at that. So that's something I'm going to need to work on from a technical perspective. I'm pretty sure that the workouts that I do when I'm having issues are kind of picking the scab. So you'll see here that once I started to clean up my touch point, I did a couple of triples with 225 and then ended up taking this last set here and got like 17 reps. I thought I'd hit 20, but we all know I'm a shitty counter. And this set here was the best out of all of them. I had no pain. The bar moved fast. It moved like how it used to. So I'm in a medium grip here. My touch point is a bit lower. I need to work on keeping the bar out over my belly a little bit more and not letting it shoot back into the shoulders. And then the other thing that I figured out is that I'm more so retracting the scapulas without actually depressing them. And so once I kind of got that locked in a little bit better and combined that with that better touch point, boom, 17 reps instead of a couple of shitty looking triples. So I will continue to work on that. Going into this next wave, I think what I will end up doing is taking these pin presses here that I did out of the chains, did 10 singles, hit one about every minute on the minute as a secondary press. I think I will use that as my dynamic movement for the lighter Wednesday workout. That way I am working on some of that bottom end strength. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it with a lighter bar weight and a little bit of accommodating resistance, or if I'm going to try and do it with slightly heavier plate weight. That way I'm working more of that bottom end strength. So I'm going to think about that over the next week or so and kind of put together a game plan for the week after next. So after that main work, hit a bunch of neutral grip chin-ups. I superset those with the JM presses on the Swiss bar. All that felt pretty good. Ended up rounding out that rest of the workout with just a bunch more upper back and tricep work like I normally do. So nothing too exciting there. I would say out of the full training week, that was the only day that was not what I would consider a full success, although even just figuring out those couple of things is still a productive day in the gym. So even though I didn't necessarily hit weights that I had kind of in mind, I did learn a few things that I think I'll be able to carry into the upcoming weeks going forward. So that brings us to the max effort lower workout on Monday. Here you can see I'm working with the safety squat bar to a box in a relatively wide stance. I ended up taking these up to 420 pounds and did 6 singles there. Once we get up to the 4 plates here, you can kind of see the progression from set to set, and I did end up getting these moving a lot better than the first single or two, because I focused on driving the knees out to pop off in the box. So hips are still firing fairly well. I did pull up a new PRI corrective for my right scapula, which is helping on the pressing work this week after these workouts happen, and then also carrying over into the squat. So you can see these are moving fairly well. Decided to just stick with the singles because I was able to keep a good groove in, and I tend to have more issues on the first rep anyway. So did 6 of them. I will probably continue doing something similar to that format coming in the next few weeks here. I'll be leaving for Vegas in about 2 weeks from today when I'm recording this, so 3 weeks after these workouts. So I'll have enough time to kind of wrap up this wave of training. I'll kind of put up together an interim wave and then just kind of brace myself for the second half of the year, which includes a lot of traveling, a lot of competitions, and then a lot of planning for deadlifts for Dornbecker. So as I'm kind of going into the latter half of the summer training, I'm going to work on starting to drop some of my volume down. I've been maintaining same body weight, so I'm still sitting anywhere from 233 to 237 depending on the day. to call it an average of 235. My calories are now up to about 3,300. I'm probably going to nudge the off training day calories down just a little bit to tighten everything up before I go to Vegas, because let's be honest, as good looking as I may be in Oregon, let's say I'm an Oregon 8, that makes you a Vegas 6. So I'm going to tighten some shit up so I can have some fun on vacation there. I'll probably come back a little bit heavy, but that's okay. I'd rather go into it with a little bit of a buffer. So that brings us to the pulls here. You can see I'm hitting these against double red mini bands. That's somewhere around 100 pounds of tension at the top. Took that up to 500 in plate weight with that 100 pounds, so about 600 at the top. And then we went outside and hit some weighted carries here with the farmer handles. Did something like 6 or 7 total trips. We're going up to 255 pounds a hand for this last one for 100 feet. I've not had this much weight in my hands for a while, and the last time that I was doing heavy farmer walks, I was not doing them beltless or this light. So I'm going to continue keeping some kind of a weighted carry in rotation for as long as the weather will allow it. On that max effort day, I'll probably rotate between some variation of a farmer carry and some variation of a yoke carry, whether that be on my back or in maybe a Zercher grip, or maybe it's a single arm farmer walk or something like that. But I'm probably going to keep all of that beltless, so that way it forces some of the work weights to stay lower, or maybe not. Maybe I hit the same weights and I do it without a belt. But the weighted carries ended up making everything feel really good into my core and my hips. So I can tell that that's definitely something that I need to do more of. So expect to see some more of that type of work in the following weeks. On the dynamic bench day here, nothing really too exciting. I had no pain or issues. I did learn that I was using the bar upside down last week when it was pissing my shoulder off, and it never dawned on me to flip the thing over. So it's not really much of a common sense PR there. On the dynamic lower day here, this is the last week of the straight bar with the 145 in plate weight and 120 in chain. What I'm going to do in the weeks coming up is switch over to the safety squat bar, and I'm going to change it over to a pin squat. That way I'm starting to move off of the box squat, since I feel like I've gotten everything pretty dialed in for box squatting, and I think I need to move away from it for a little bit and start doing a couple of the variations. So expect to see most likely a safety bar squat into pins. Not sure again if I want to use chains or bands, or if I want to just go a little bit more straight weight and work on that bottom end strength. I'm going to kind of go by feel on that and decide what I want to do next week. But for now, these were probably the best that the box squats have felt in the last, I think, 6 weeks that I've been doing the raw box squats. I'm able to sit into my hips. Both glutes are firing evenly. I don't feel any kind of a shift in through my lower back or my hips or anything. And my corrective work seems to all be kicking in pretty well. So I did these superset with set to 15 on the kettlebell swing, so I ended up finishing 10 doubles with this weight here and 150 kettlebell swings, and this time took me about 20 minutes instead of doing it in under 15, just because it was about 100 degrees in the gym here, and I was having a really hard time keeping the same pace that I normally do, even though it's been hot for the last several weeks. But that all felt relatively good. That will be the last week of doing that kind of a superset for right now, as I want to start bringing up the volume of some of the accessory work on this dynamic day. So what I'll be doing is on the max effort, I will follow the 2 main movements with some kind of strongman type work, whether that be a combination of sled pulls or carries or pushes or something with some kind of a weighted carry. And then I'm going to stick the more bodybuilding style accessory work on this dynamic effort day. So that way it's a little bit more restorative and less compressive. So I think that will be a good combination to ride through the rest of the summer. Speed pulls moved all fairly well. Still in the stiff bar here, bumped the chains up to 80 pounds of chain, up from last week's 40 pounds, and they moved just about the same as last week, which is good. You can see towards some of these latter sets here, I'm doing a good job of finding my start position again, and the weight is moving similarly to how it used to back before I decided to drop a bunch of weight. So those all felt good. Was able to take good mornings up to 350 for 8 on the safety squat bar. the set here. I think I might have actually only gotten 7. I felt like I was going to shit my pants towards the end of the set, so I cut it off a little bit early. But this was the 4th set. I went, I want to say 240, 290, 330, and 350 for 8, and then 7 reps on this last one. So all in all, these are feeling good. Hips are getting stronger, back is getting stronger, body weight's staying the same, and I am starting to get over some of the nagging issues that I've been working on fixing. So pretty productive week of training. I've got one more full week before we're off for Vegas, and then I'll have kind of a slightly shortened training week, but I'm going to kind of treat it like a deload like I did with the last one. So that is it. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you next week.